weeks that this bill has been discussed and debated, it's clear that an overwhelming percentage of the American people, Democrats, independents, our Republican friends, have made it clear, the people out there, made it clear they strongly support the American Rescue Plan. Yesterday, with the final passage of the plan in the House of Representatives, their voices were heard and reflected in everything we have in this bill. And I believe this is, and most people I think do as well, this historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country and giving people in this nation, working people, middle-class folks, people who built the country, a fighting chance. That's what the essence of it is. And I'm going to have a lot more to say about that tonight and the next couple of days and be able to take your questions. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is sign this bill and make the presentation tonight. And then there's going to be plenty of opportunities. We're going to be on the road not only talking about what I'm talking about tonight is the impact on the virus and how we're going to end this pandemic. And we're going to talk all the elements of the bill beginning on Friday, Saturday, and through the week. So, thank you for being here. Got it.
Personally, I believe that a fourth stimulus check of $2,000 should be approved by Congress. The great American people still need help. After all, we were promised a $2,000 stimulus check. So, we should get a $2,000 stimulus payment. If you guys agree with my message, then leave a comment down below saying I agree.
Passed the CARES Act without a single dissenting vote. I said we'd see a new generation of American heroes, and so we have. Doctors and nurses and first responders have worked tirelessly to help their fellow Americans. Essential workers kept manning their posts and prevented economic collapse. Neighbors looked out for neighbors, and small businesses shifted gears almost overnight. Children and parents have fought to adapt to extraordinary disruptions. And incredible heroes in lab coats in America and worldwide worked at light speed to decode this new enemy and create life-saving vaccines in record time. Today, together, we're standing on the cusp of a new springtime for our country, not like anything we've experienced in our lifetimes. More than 95 million vaccine doses have reached American arms, another 2 million every single day. COVID-related deaths have plummeted, now less than half of their high, particularly for the elderly and the vulnerable. Science reaffirms kids can be safely in the classroom right now. States are starting to lift blanket restrictions, freeing citizens and small businesses to follow smart precautions themselves. And for weeks, every indicator has suggested our economy is poised to come roaring back with more job openings for Americans who need work. None of these trends began on January 20th. President Biden and his Democratic government inherited a tide that had already begun to turn toward decisive victory. In 2020, Congress passed 5 historic bipartisan bills to save our health system, protect our economic foundations, and fund Operation Warp Speed to find vaccines. Senate Republicans led the bipartisan CARES Act that got our country through the last year. The American people already built a parade that's been marching toward victory. Democrats just want to sprint in front of the parade and claim credit. So when 10 Republican senators went to the White House to suggest working together, a Democrat said no. Both the Democratic leader and the White House chief of staff now indicate they think President Obama's problem was that he was too bipartisan. This time, as one journalist put it, the situation was, quote, Democrats to GOP, take it or leave it, end quote. The it that we're talking about here was a bill that only spent about 1% on vaccines and about 9% on the entire health fight. The rest of the tab went to things like this: a $350 billion bailout for state and local budgets unrelated to pandemic needs, with strings attached to stop states from cutting taxes on their own citizens down the road. Take the money, you don't get to cut taxes. Massive federal school funding spread over several years without requiring quick reopening. Sweeping new government benefits with no work requirements whatsoever. A time warp to the bad times before bipartisan welfare reform, which Democrats already say they want to make permanent. And agricultural assistance conditioned not on specific financial need, but solely on the demographics of the farmer, which some liberal activists are celebrating as reparations. Only about 20% of the spending went to $1,400 direct checks to try to and keep all of the unrelated socialism out of the spotlight.
Happy Thursday. I hope all of you are having a great day so far. Now this is your third stimulus check update. So in this video guys, I'll be telling you exactly when you should expect to receive the third stimulus check from Congress. We all know that the third stimulus check is going to be $1,400. It now has to be signed by Joe Biden because it was already approved by the House and the Senate. And then over the weekend, stimulus payments can start being sent out to those of you that need it. Now for the stimulus check news. The first batch of $1,400 stimulus checks offered by the $1.9 trillion relief bill will go to people who have given direct deposit information when they previously filed their tax returns. The House has already passed the American Rescue Plan and it's going to be sent to Joe Biden for his signature. And so that's great news for all of you at home because stimulus checks are going to be sent out this month. Yes folks, you'll begin to receive a $1,400 stimulus check anywhere from within 1 to 2 weeks. The federal government will issue the first batch of $1,400 checks to Americans who gave direct deposit information when they filed their 2019 and 2020 tax returns. That's according to a report from NBC. The $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan offers a one-time direct payment to those who qualify. This is the third round of stimulus checks since the pandemic first began last year. Now Joe Biden is expected to sign legislation by the weekend, and that's also great news for all of you. When unemployment benefits are slated to lapse for millions of people. The Senate passed a bill last Saturday, and the IRS will start issuing the $1,400 checks this month. The initial group of recipients will be followed by taxpayers who did not provide direct deposit information, but for whom the IRS has payment information from other programs that they have. So this means that if you didn't file your 2019 or 2020 tax returns, you will still get a stimulus check of $1,400. Or more depending on how you file, or more depending on how many dependents you have. The IRS will be able to send money electronically for taxpayers who filed returns with direct deposit or bank account information. So yes folks, I'll be telling you. In addition guys, the government will send paper checks or debit cards to the household for which the Treasury Department cannot determine a bank account.